Hi, this is Ursula Renee again, back with episode 5 of How Did Deliverance Become My Ministry? So we left off where one of my colleagues has resigned earlier than she anticipated. She was being treated hostile, rude, what she felt like unfair, and she left. I had only been there maybe a month and a half. And so when I look back on it now, as you can imagine, I've only been there a month and a half. What I don't have is the luxury. When people say hindsight is 2020, it is the perfect way to establish patterns. You know, when there's a pattern of something, well, you have to allow the pattern to establish itself, right? Unfortunately, for you to say, oh my goodness, something's wrong. There's a pattern here that's not right. It needs to be broken. But by then, time has passed. But there's no other way for a pattern to be established except through time. And so I'm at this job, and this is the first person I see leave. Thanks to the manager and the two, I can't, their role just seemed like flunkies. Like the Jezebel spirit and her Ahab spirits on the side of her, with the two who have the promise of promotion, who will do anything for her. So I think at this point they're trying to decide who's next. And I say that because in hindsight, what would happen is one person would leave and they would turn their hostility and their oppression and their harassment to a new person. And then they go to management, to HR, like, oh, we are swamped with work in this department. We need to hire someone new. It was like this cycle. Like, we're going to get people. It was like so diabolical, where they would hire someone, like, we need someone, and then they'd oppress someone and make them quit or make them leave. And then they'd hire someone new. And the cycle would start again. Again, hindsight is 2020. But that's what I would see. The Lord would allow me to quit. Like, I got there at a time where I saw one person leave almost immediately, and I felt like I was next without knowing it. But when they came for me, like, to over critique my work, or and what does that mean? Like, you are holding my work. The work that we were doing had deadlines. You know, the type of work that I was doing, I have deadlines. It's legally binding, things of that nature. And, they'd hold work, give it back to you, right before the deadline, or they'd just constant harassment. But something that they did, I don't even remember what it could have been, but I know that I wasn't having it, because I'm gonna tell you, I had no divine revelation at that point. And if you come at me sideways, I was about to deal with you in the flesh. And so my thought honestly was, okay, so I could quit, right? Like, I'm gonna get a job. Like, that's not a problem. I've always had like my own business or something of that nature. But I felt like I saw very quickly my supervisor didn't know what she was doing. That the two people on the side of her they were helping her do her work. So I'm like, so you need to think about that when you're harassing people at work. So what if you get them fired and leave? Most people leave quietly. No, I'm not going to do that. Right? I'll leave and you're going to come with me, is what my thought process was. And in that, I meant, I don't have to lie to get you to come with me. No, what I mean is you're incompetent and you don't know what you're doing. And the fact that nobody else is saying anything, I will. Like, so I'll quit. Like, if you wanted me to quit, okay, I'll quit. You could try to get me fired, but guess what? I'm going to make it known that you don't know what you're doing. Like, I'm going to make it known that they're paying you a salary and you have no clue of what you're doing. That was really my approach. So whatever the supervisor attempted to do to me the first time, my reaction was one that she probably wasn't used to. So they did a pivot to Kim. They didn't know enough about me. But Kim, in her quest to be friendly with them, and this is for someone, there's power in silence. I'm going to tell you, there's power in silence. There's power in keeping your business to yourself. You in the workplace telling all your business, that is not what you do. But I will tell you, she had already told them about her kids' father, her boyfriend, her living situation. She always left at 4. She needed to pick up her kids by 4:30. I would understand why you would need to say that. But it got to the point where they started to keep her work until 4:30. They would keep the work, like, so your work needs to be approved. It needs to be reviewed. There were checks and balances in place because it was legally binding. So they would keep her work until the very end of the day, and then it still wouldn't be right. So that meant she couldn't leave on time to pick up her kids. And I remember the supervisor saying to her, well, can't your boyfriend pick them up? And she said, those aren't his kids. That's not for him to pick them up. But a little taken aback that the supervisor would say that to her. They were just so, I'm going to tell you this for someone. Satan, the wiles of Satan, he knows who to pick with. He know his idea is to attack your mind first, attack your emotions, your soul, and make you crumble. I'm going to tell you, Kim would start crying at work. She got to the point where she was just about to have a breakdown. They told her, don't leave your desk. If you need to leave your desk, let us know. You know, you're not meeting your deadline, so you need to work more. Like if someone stopped by her desk, because she used to work in a different department. So if somebody stopped at her desk just to say hi, yeah, we saw you talking to so-and-so, and you could have been doing your work. And so that's why you're not meeting your deadline. She could have talked to the person for 2 minutes. And they would use that against her. Or, well, you're going to have to make arrangements to pick up your kids because you're not meeting your deadline. You just can't leave. Like, it was just constant. Like, it was always something new they came up with. But imagine someone telling you can't leave your desk, like you're a kindergartner, without asking permission, and you're a grown woman. That's what they told her. And I remember one day she walked past, I sat toward the front of my row, and I looked up and she stopped, and I could read on her face she was she was about to cry. So I was like, okay, let's go to the bathroom. So we go to the bathroom, and she's like, I don't understand why they're treating me like this. Like, what did I do? I don't understand. And so I'm giving her an ear to listen to, but I'm thinking to myself, you know, evil doesn't care about your tears. Evil doesn't care about doing the right thing. I think for a lot of people, when you're innately good, you're thinking people need a reason to be mean to you. But if somebody has a demonic spirit, they came to make your life miserable. That's what you need to know. They get joy out of making your life miserable. There's a witch that I heard say, she was delivered. You know, she's a Christian now, but you know, she was initiated into witchcraft in a country in Africa by her grandmother. It was just, you know, she was fourth generation, and she was like, she had an assignment. Her assignment was to cause accidents, break up marriages, and cause disruption in churches. So imagine if you saw somebody constantly having accidents, or, you know, just godly marriages being broken or challenged. You're trying to figure out, well, what did I do? What did I do? But an attack that you get on your marriage, or, you know, attack on, you know, in the church, you're looking for a reason with your mind why this is happening. But that's what Satan's job is. Like, I never get when people are like, what did I do? I don't understand, right? Because you're not understanding that things are spiritual, life is spiritual, and they manifest in the natural. I wouldn't fully know it yet. I wouldn't fully know it yet either. But I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, I'm so pissed off that they feel okay with treating people this way. So let's find out what I did after that. So stay tuned for episode 6 on how Deliverance became part of my ministry.